Hey guys, it's your boy M.K.S here, back with part 3 of my dreams for, my questions to Milan fans as of town football, as a fan of town football generally. As I promised, this was not a product placement, just fans think so. Anyway, I'm sweating like a pig, so it's nice and warm here. But anyway, I recently was thinking, or I thought this idea before, a question before that I would like to, that I asked myself, or that I would like to write about and discuss, which is what would I do if I had £1 million or even £1 billion or even £1 trillion sterling or dollars or whatever. And I thought, me personally, I'm not that materialistic, as I've probably mentioned. Sorry for repeating myself so many times, but I'm not that materialistic. So me personally, I would love to donate to charity and things like that, but also to town football. From a selfish point of view, I'd love to donate to a town football and Celtic and things like that. But I think I would be able to live on like the minimum wage, or even or whatever the average wage is, at least, and I'd probably work out how much I need to live on, and including obviously to have things I enjoy a little bit, like a bit of money to go out and things like that. I don't drink alcohol, but believe it or not, but to imagine how mad I would be if I did, but to go for a drink, like have orange juice or Coke or whatever. But yeah, also having cups of tea or things like that. But what I would need to live on, so I would try and work out what I would need to live on, the bare minimum, and then I would donate about 20% of any money I had. Like if I had $1 million or $1 billion or even $1 trillion, I would donate 20% of that money towards Italian football to help develop Italian football, 20% to Celtic FC, 20% to my political goals, which include cutting taxes and deregulating industries and making people as free as possible generally. To me, those things are quite free. I know it's a bit controversial. And 20% to former colonies or people who are colonized, basically in what I call the Six. And the last 20% would be to help poor and homeless and disabled and disadvantaged people around the world without having to raise taxes, because it would come from that money, hopefully, or having to raise having them bare minimum of taxes, hopefully without causing any poverty. Also, as I say, deregulation and things like that. But at the same time, I would love to help the poor in a different way, like people who choose to do so or find alternative ways to do so with my dyslexic creativity. But on that note, I would love to ask one extra question to Milan fans, I suppose. I know a lot of these questions I've asked more than one sort of question for, a lot of these points. But I would love to ask Milan fans, what would you do if you had $1 million or even $1 billion or even $1 trillion in your account? Like, how much would you keep? How much would you donate to charity, perhaps? And perhaps I should have saved the charity thing to last, perhaps. But how much would you give to your beloved Milan, depending on how much you love them? Some people might support them a little bit, and obviously some might support them a lot. Some people might be prepared to give a lot away. Some, like if you're materialistic, I assume obviously you would probably want to keep a lot and give a lot away. But I would love to know how much for each, like if you had £1 million or even several million, or if you had $1 billion or even several billion, or even if you were perhaps the richest person or one of the richest people in the world or even in history, and you had trillions or whatever, or quadrillions even maybe, how much would you be prepared to give away? So like I say, me personally, I'd give 20% of all my money to all those 5 causes or things I talked about, even if I had quadrillions. So I wouldn't really keep that much because I'm not that materialistic. But anyway, I thought I'd just open on that thing. So sorry if this intro has been a bit long, but I just thought I'd get that out of the way. And hope I haven't forgotten anything for the intro. And I'm going to crack on with my list. So as I often say, please check out parts 1 and 2 if you haven't already done so. So number 21, I would love to know if there are any things about Milan's history, about AC Milan's history, that you would like to share in the comment section with fellow fans, or with even non-Milan fans who might stumble across this video and maybe look at the comment section, who might be interested to know about football or to get into football or soccer, or just to know facts about Milan. So if there's any facts about Milan's history, like the name, how the name came about, or anything like that, how many trophies the team's won. I know it's the second most successful. I think it's 7 Champions Leagues, and it's the second most successful behind Real Madrid, who unfortunately for us have about 13 or 14 now Champions League, so we're a bit behind. They've won double the amount, but which just shows how good they are, considering we are the second most successful, just ahead of Liverpool, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, any other facts and figures and information. Another question I would love to ask, certain numbers remind me of certain things also with 21. Do you think that former players should get involved in coaching, especially youth, or at least the youth, and also Antragor being ambassadors for the club, like Ronaldinho's? Do you think that Kaká, Ronaldinho, and people like that, Seedorf even, should be, or Ruud Gullit, or some of those players should get involved in coaching the youth and being ambassadors in their home countries, like in Brazil, in Kaká's and Ronaldinho's case, or in Ronaldo's case, perhaps the old Ronaldo, the Brazilian Ronaldo, the original, or in Seedorf, I think he's Dutch. In Seedorf's case, or Ruud Gullit's case, or people like that, Marco van Basten, people like that, in Holland or wherever those players are from. I know we had a strong Dutch connection in the past. So I know those are two questions basically, but yeah. Number 22, what would you love to see for the club in the future? And again, how do you think former players could get involved, or how do you think fans could benefit the club and spread the club around the world? Number 23, what sort of causes do you think the club should stand for, or what sort of things do you think the club should do to raise, which causes in terms of like tackling things like cancer or illnesses generally, diseases, things like COVID, or things like that, and do you think the club should support? And I think it'd be great if AC Milan had football academies. Again, I'd love to hear what you think. So I'll put this as a question again. Do you think the club should have, as a Milan fan, do you think the club should have academies for indigenous people from America and also from Australasia, as it's black and red? I know it's a bit of a controversial thing, because calling Native Americans red is a bit controversial, but maybe it could have a positive stint. For instance, it could look at raising awareness about Native Americans and their plight and their issues and their history and things like that, and also fundraise for their businesses or their artists or things like that. And hopefully having supporters clubs and academies in those groups, as well as for Indigenous Australasians and Africans and people from Asia, people from across Asia and Ireland and other possibly, or especially former colonized countries, but especially developing countries as well. Number 24, this is a question more also for fans of other teams in Italy, so like Juventus, even Inter Milan, the main rivals, Lazio or Roma or any other Italian teams or fans of Italian teams. I would love to know, would you get behind Milan when they play non-Italian teams, like in the Champions League or in the World Club Cup or any events like that? Would you be happy to support, even as an Inter fan, say, for instance, or Lazio fan or whatnot, would you be happy to support AC Milan when they play non-Italian teams as they represent Italy? Me personally, I'm a big fan of Italian football generally, so I would love to see any Italian team do well. AC, Inter, Monza, Lazio, Roma, any other team. But yeah, and also, I suppose that question could be also to AC Milan fans, which is, would you like to see other teams do well if, let's say, heaven forbid, AC Milan go out of the Champions League or don't manage to reach the World Club Cup or whatever, and Juventus are still in, or in a big competition, would you like to see them do well, or even Inter Milan or other Italian teams like Lazio or Roma or whatever? Or are there Italian teams that you wouldn't want to see do well, and are there other ones that you would want to see do well? So yeah, I'd love to know what you think about that, or what your answers to those questions are as well, of course. Number 25, again, how do you think the club could incite more sponsors and expand the brand, which is, I suppose, what it is, the business and the brand, because I suppose that's what a football club is. How do you think they could expand it across, not just in Italy, but also all over Europe, the Americas, Latin America especially, or even America, which is now a big soccer-loving country or whatever. In the Americas, maybe, or countries that use the term soccer, maybe AC Milan could be happy to use that term as well as other Italian teams to entice fans from those countries, because other parts of Europe, especially England, hate it when people use soccer, but I think Italians shouldn't mind, especially if it means we get more fans, because to me the most important thing is trophies. But yeah, how do we expand getting more fans and supporters groups in Asia and Africa and all over the world, Australasia and whatever? And I think those having supporters clubs and academies in all parts of the world would be excellent. Number 26, do you think the club should give back to countries like in Africa and Asia, perhaps that were part of the empire, like the Roman Empire, that Italy colonized, or even countries that are being colonized generally? especially as Italy used to be an empire and stuff like that. Number 27, who do you think are the top heroes of AC Milan, like the top legends? For instance, where does Kaká or Ronaldinho rank? Ruud Gullit, Marco van Basten, and players like that. Who are the best Milan players have you have ever seen, and who are your favourite Milan players? And also, what sort of ways do you think the club could honour them, like a Walk of Fame, a Hall of Fame, Wall of Fame, or things like that, or just have a list of the top players and the top honours, or things like that? I'd love to hear any ideas or suggestions you have on that front, how the club could honour its former heroes, and even people who invest in the club and donate, basically help the club to improve, like through donations, investments, and things like that. And maybe the club could honour specific fans who maybe donate to the club. We can have GoFundMe's, crowdfunding, and things like that. So those who contribute to the club, again, donated to the club their own money to benefit the club. So they put the money where their mouth is and things like that. Maybe the club could honour the top people who spend money on Milan and benefit the club in any way, whether that's financial or on the field. So basically off the field, on the field, or people who help with the club's charities and volunteer, or just generally help the club generally. Number 28, how do you think AC Milan could network with NGOs, charities, governments, FIFA itself, maybe UEFA and others, possibly to do things like tackle corruption in football and improve the image of the club at the same time, and also, ensure the best team wins, and basically also does football for good, like fundraising for charity, helping to stop children from taking drugs or getting into crime or smoking or drinking, or improves diets or things like that. How do you think the club could do more, basically to make the world a better place and turn negatives into positives and things like that? Number 29, this question is more for my fellow Anglo-Indians or Eurasians or even mixed race people generally. Would you be prepared to support AC Milan or Italian football generally? And also for my fellow dyslexics or people who are neurodiverse, like dyslexics, ADHDers, people with autism and so on, dyspraxics and that sort of thing. I know dyspraxic people normally are not included. I'm not normally that good at sport. I've got dyspraxia myself, but I'm not. I suppose I'm pretty average at sport. I suppose probably I'm a bit uncoordinated, but I suppose my passion sort of makes up for that. But yeah, I'd love to hear from fellow neurodiverse people, like what you think dyslexic people and people with ADHD and whatnot can contribute to Italian football, including obviously AC Milan. And number 30, I would love to hear your general points and any questions you would like to ask fellow Milan fans and whatnot. Anyway, peace and love. I'm out.